just had a very big leak with a bunch of crazy claims on it, and Jason and I wanted to cover some of the leaked Pokemon because, of course, Generation 10 is going to be giving us a brand new Pokedex, which obviously means brand new Pokemon for a brand new generation, and a bunch of other random information about the game. So let's hop right into it. I know 4chan can be very weird sometimes, but we did get a lot of leaks that were correct about the starter Pokemon that originated from 4chan, and back in the Legends ZA days, we also did have a few leaks from 4chan that became real, so Jzard and I figured might as well just see what this one has to say. So this one says that the Pokedex is going to be roughly 420 in the base game, but specifically, it does mention that we are going to be getting a baby Pokemon for Tauros and Miltank, 10 new regional forms, which over on Jzard's channel, we just did a video about that. Make sure to go check it out. And it also does say flying type Eeveelution confirmed, which more on that later. So this is an awesome evolution, especially the name Calf and Half. So this is a mix between Miltank and Tauros, and it is really interesting because I feel like these Pokemon are commonly connected to each other when people bring them up. I just thought this design went crazy because it's kind of like that awkward early teenage phase with that long hair. I think the designs go crazy for both of these Pokemon.
Bro, that name Calf and Half is pretty crazy, but yeah, man, I feel like it's pretty common with these evolutions for Tauros and Miltank. They always look pretty similar. Like the ones we covered over on my channel also were very similar to each other, so I think that part makes sense. And yeah, bro, this is a pretty funny Pokemon right here. Calf and Half. It's crazy.
This is the cutest baby Tauros I've ever seen in my life. It definitely looks like a capybara, which we have had rumors of a capybara Pokemon in Generation 10, but that's not related to this information today. I just think that this design is awesome, especially since it still has the bell on him. This would totally be one of the cute anime Pokemon that would be heavily featured on like a bunch of plush and mugs and stuff.
Yeah, bro, this Pokemon kind of looks like if Tepig got like some kind of a ground type regional variant, but I think it's pretty cool, and I think the bell definitely fits with Tauros being a bull.
Bro really does look like a potato. So it was low-key hard to find a baby Pokemon specifically for Miltank and Tauros, but there's a lot of people have actually combined these Pokemon together to make a baby Pokemon, and this one is so awesome. So Calf and Half 2.0. This one's called Lil Huff. Very funny name.
Lil Huff is sick, dude. I think it's actually crazy that this one evolves into Bouffalant as well, because all three of those Pokemon are pretty similar, you know what I mean? So I think it's kind of funny how he's got the little afro on top of his head, because we know Bouffalant's got the big, you know, afro hair. Then he's also got the pink, which obviously represents Miltank along with the eyes, and then it's got pretty similar colors to Tauros, as well as that thing around his neck, which kind of looks like some kind of an apron maybe. But this is a very creative concept right here. I like it.
Look how cuddly he is, bro. He is just hugging Natu.
Natu, how do you do?
Now, I wanted to take this a step further and cover more baby Pokemon that we need. So right now in the comments, let us know a baby Pokemon that you think needs to happen. 100%, some of these Pokemon in Generation 10 would be perfect to actually get that pre-baby evolution. So let us know. This is a pre-evolution for Heracross called Herculad. Dude, he just looks like a berry with a horn, like a shark with no body, just the fin and eyes. I love this design. It's so cute, dude. Baby Pokemon are low-key underrated, I swear.
It's so funny how it seems like one of the biggest reasons that baby Pokemon exist is kind of just for plush reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like plush, cards, all that kind of stuff, because they're always pretty weak Pokemon. They definitely serve a purpose though, and I do really like them. I always want to see more, so what a perfect Pokemon to give a baby form to. Heracross definitely deserves one, so yeah, like I said, I'm a fan of this guy.
And of course, if we have Heracross, we have to have a version of Pinsir. I think this is so sick. He looks like a dreidel or some sort of like spinning object. I love that he's like a mohawk design with his horn.
Dude, this one is sick, bro. This guy has to be my favorite one of the video. Stabber is such a sick name. He looks like a little feisty baby bug Pokemon. He kind of reminds me of Voltorb in a way. I don't know what it is about this Pokemon, but I just think it's so cool. I think the Mohawk that you mentioned is also really cool. I'm a fan of this thing through and through.
It's funny that it looks so mean, and you just know he would be a very tiny mon. Now, one that needs to happen is a baby Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is such a cool Pokemon, so slept on and underrated. I remember back in the day when Pokemon Go came out, if you find an Aerodactyl, you would pass out. This mon goes crazy. Now, specifically, this probably would be a good Pokemon for Legends Galar, because apparently it's going to be taking place 1,000 years in the past, so I think that'll be very fitting. But still, in winds and waves, imagine just seeing a bunch of baby Aerodactyls flying around. That would be awesome, like at the very top of some random mountain on the map, hiding in some caves, you know, flying around. That would be the cutest thing ever, especially just seeing it in the new animation style.
Bro, I've always been a big fan of Aerodactyl. I've always thought that he's pretty cool looking, so I never really understood why he wasn't more popular than he is. But yeah, bro, this baby Pokemon for Aerodactyl, I think could make a lot of sense. I feel like they'd have to maybe put in something where they found a new fossil of Aerodactyl, so maybe it's like a new regional variant of Aerodactyl, and then maybe this guy only evolves into the regional variants. I could see something like that working, just because I wonder how they'd kind of write in the fact that this guy would come from a fossil, you know what I'm saying? Because that is how we get Aerodactyl, so that would be kind of strange.
And since we are apparently having a little bit of Australia in the map of Generation 10, because Generation 10 is overall taking place in Southeast Asia, but the very, very top of Australia could be in this map just based on some leaks. So what better way to celebrate that than to give us the actual pre-evolution of Kangaskhan, which is just a little baby that's in the pouch that we already know what it looks like. Now, this would be awesome. This has been something that fans have wanted forever. Literally the cutest Pokemon ever, just a little baby kangaroo dinosaur looking thing. I think this would be awesome, and honestly would probably sell so many copies of this game if they were to actually do this. And the plush, bro, the plush would go crazy.
Yeah, bro, and I'm also imagining what kind of illustration rare cards they could make out of this. I think those would be so cool. And I mean, this Pokemon, it does exist technically, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's quite literally in the pouch of Kangaskhan. We don't know what its name is. There's all the theories where this is what Cubone actually looks like, stuff like that, but I think this is a separate Pokemon, and because it does exist, why not just give it to us finally? I think it makes sense, especially to your point where we do have a bit of Australia on this map, so if they wanted to kind of play into that theme, maybe we can catch this Pokemon in that little section of the map. I think that would make a lot of sense.
I love this Pokemon because it's one of those weird, mysterious Pokemon that we know exist, but we haven't really seen, such as, you know, the original Dragon, which Jzard and I, man, we want a Generation 5 game that reveals the original Dragon so bad. Now, Tropius. We've had a bunch of rumors about this Pokemon potentially getting some sort of either regional variant, some sort of evolution. We did see it in the trailer in its original form, so I feel like if it were to get anything, it would be some sort of evolution. A pre-evolution specifically is what we all want, because once again, it's kind of another dinosaur-looking Pokemon. It is a tropical Pokemon too, so it would fit perfectly within Winds and Waves. I think this evolution is awesome because right away, without even second guessing, you can tell that this is Tropius. I love the design where the leaves are actually curled up because it hasn't reached the age yet where they actually fully flow out, just like real plants do in real life.
Yeah, bro, I totally agree. I feel like Tropius has always felt like an incomplete Pokemon to me. It's this huge final stage evolution looking Pokemon, but it doesn't have an evolution. When I was a kid, I was always trying to figure out if it evolved or not. It always just seems so much more stronger than it actually was too, just based on the way it looks. So I think give Tropius some better stats, maybe give him, who knows if these will be in the game, but maybe a Mega Evolution to make him stronger, but also a baby Pokemon just to kind of make him feel more complete. I think Tropius definitely deserves some justice like that, so Game Freak, make it happen.
Lapras is 100% a Pokemon that I have always wanted a pre-evolution for because Lapras is already so awesome. And once again, this would be an awesome Pokemon to see in the water of the game because the game, man, it looks great with the water. So this design is awesome where it's using some sort of shell as its shell on its back rather than the big rocky design that we know. It's funny that you could actually have another Pokemon in that little shell, almost like a boat. I think that is so funny.
Yeah, bro, that picture on the right side where he's got the Oshawott and the Poliwag hanging out back there, you know what I'm saying? I think that would be such a cool Pokemon card. I think people would absolutely love something like that. I know I would be all over that card. So this Pokemon would have a lot of potential with the TCG, but not to mention, I think because there's so much water in this game, there is a very good chance that Lapras could get a regional variant in this game. So, like I said about Aerodactyl, give him a pre-evolution that can evolve into the new regional variant, and of course, the normal one.
So this rumor on 4chan did claim that there's going to be a new flying type evolution, which we've heard time and time again. So I thought this design was so cool because of how majestic it looks, and I could just totally see this being a brand new fan favorite Eeveelution. Jason and I probably will make another video all about the Eeveelution soon, so make sure to subscribe for that. I love how this design has the wings as the ears. I think that's so creative and just so cool.
Yeah, man, we've had so many leaks, so many rumors talking about a flying type Eeveelution. I think it would make sense, obviously, for Pokemon wins. Like, the reason is right there in the name. But yeah, this one right here looks really cool. We did hear in Gen 7 that they planned on giving us a flying type Eeveelution, but then they had to scrap it because apparently it was too close to fan designs, which I don't really know how that would stop them. But either way, it never ended up happening. So what better game than Pokemon Wins to give it to us, especially because the whole map and theme is very similar to Alola, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a tropical island. So if that's kind of the theme they were going for this flying type Eeveelution, you might as well just do it in Gen 10, man.
And of course, with the regional variant side of things, what video would it be if I didn't bring up one of the coolest regional variants I've ever seen called Goomud? At least I'm assuming this is a regional variant of Goomy. even though it does have a different name. This one, of course, is made by the Go Cardinal, which you guys already know. And he also did make this awesome Centret regional variant that I genuinely think is absolutely perfect for this region. I'd assume this Pokemon would only spawn at nighttime, just obviously based on the design and that this Pokemon in this photo is seen at nighttime. But man, is this a cool Pokemon. I love showing off the Cardinal designs to you guys because I know you love them too. If you're watching this far in the video, comment down below your favorite drink of all time. Could be Dr. Pepper, we got some water.
Chocolate milk.
Check out Jay's art in the description down below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.